Welcome on behalf of the Indian section to all members who joined today. Let's all join together in the universal invocation. O hidden light, vibrant in every atom. O hidden
Hidden
light,
light,
shining
vibrant
in
in
every
every.
creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he's also one with every other. So today we continue with part 3 of the LBS Appendix 2, which Vibhaji has been brilliantly explaining to all of us. You know, when we do 10th standard maths and then go to 11th and do calculus, we just think it becomes so tough after 10th standard maths. So this is most of the condition of most of us who read the Mahatma letters. These parts, these questions and answers are pretty tough. So I'm so glad that Vibhaji is here to help us through it. Welcome, Vibhaji.
Hi. Yes, thank you, Vimalji. Just a moment. Thank you, Vimalji, and very good evening. Namaste to all of you. And we will continue. We have been studying this LBS Appendix 2 from the Mahatma letters to AP Sinnet. And we've completed 2 sessions. Today we will be continuing from, I think that was question number 20, the last part of question number 20. And okay, I will share the slides with you so that we know where exactly we left off. Yeah, if you see the last line of this slide, this was the later part of question 20. It spoke about this origin of evil. And in explaining it, apparently Mahatma Ji had given a simile of the sugar refinery. We discussed this last time. Sugar causes increased fermentation, which is the cause for worms. So then the student, either Sinnet or A.O. Hume, they mentioned that these dualities like good or evil, they were necessary only for the conditioned world. And nothing is necessary for the absolute, which he assumes is omnipotent. So Sinnet is telling this to the master that the absolute is omnipotent, so nothing is necessary for it. And to this, Mahatma Ji asks him to prove first that the unconditioned absolute.
Yeah, and I did that and also created the service for uh, the cloud storage and using the files from there. So it works well.
Request everybody to be on mute. Okay. So when Sinnet is assuming that the absolute must be omnipotent, Mahatma Ji asks him to prove first that the unconditioned absolute is omnipotent. Can he prove it? No, because this is not the case. Everything is latent in the absolute. Even omniscience is latent in the absolute. So saying that absolute is omnipotent is not the right statement. So that is where we ended last time. Now we will continue further. Going to the next slide. That the pupil, he continues his question, problems lying behind the veil that separates the non-manifested final cause from the manifested universe are beyond the grasp of minds conditioned in that universe. And to this Mahatma Ji answers, indeed, they are not. So problems lying behind the veil that separates the non-manifest. What is the non-manifest? See, we speak of the 7 cosmic planes. So these higher 3 planes, they are the worlds of reality. They are the worlds of non-being. They are considered non-manifest. Okay, because matter there is pure radiation. It is arup. The lower 4 worlds, they are the phenomenal worlds or the transitional worlds. They are called the planes of being, planes of manifestation. So we are evolving on this lowest plane of manifestation, which is called the terrestrial plane, in which all our 7 solar planes are there. So there is this veil. We are not able to know what are the worlds of reality. It is So here it is called a veil, or in Vedant, like it is called Maya. We are not able to know what is it that is there in those non-manifested worlds. And it is separated from these manifested universe, and it is beyond the grasp of minds who are in this conditioned universe. These lower four planes, they are the conditioned universe. So Mahatma Ji says, indeed they are not. So he continues the question, the absolute infinite is unthinkable, and we can neither comprehend it nor justify its ways to man. So Mahatma Ji is telling him, then why lose time over it? Who has asked you to do so? When you cannot think of it, it is absolute and infinite, you cannot comprehend it, then there is no point in trying to speculate over it. But all the same, Mahatma Ji clarifies that your all-pervading supreme power exists, but it is exactly matter, whose life is motion, will, and nerve power. Nerve power is electricity. Purush can think but through Prakriti. So what this means is that manifestation is an emanation of eternal matter. Eternal matter is Mool Prakriti. It is the veil over Parabrahma. And in this, Purush and Prakriti, they are inherent. So what is Purush? Purush is the subjective side or the consciousness in which power and life, they are inherent. This power and energy, it works through matter. Okay, the power which is inherent in consciousness, it works through matter and in matter. Matter is the objective side. It is the substance or Prakriti. So consciousness or Purush, he cannot become active. His activity, thinking, awareness, that cannot come into being without the vehicle or upadhi of matter, which is called Prakriti. And therefore, all the manifested worlds, they are made up of this spirit and matter, or consciousness, energy, substance. And this also includes all the planes, also the seventh cosmic plane. Seventh cosmic plane is but an abstraction. Okay, but still that Purush Prakriti or spirit matter is present. The seventh plane, that is a abstraction of Purush Prakriti. Spirit matter is one over there, one element, the one element, just an abstract idea. Then in the next question, the pupil is seeking concurrence or approval from the Mahatma. And to that question, Mahatma Ji says, yes, he agrees. So what his question is? That is question number 21. He says, what you would say, meaning what the Mahatma Ji would say. What you would say would be, whether this be so or not, as regards the hypothesis of an absolute beyond the conditioned. It is and must ever remain a pure hypothesis, meaning that absolute is and must ever remain a pure hypothesis. This absolute that he is referring to, it is the ultimate reality. And the ultimate reality, as Madame Blavatsky has mentioned in The Secret Doctrine, it is out of relation to everything that is manifest. It is beyond description or comprehension. And in Sanskrit, we call it Parabrahma. And Moola Prakriti is the veil over Parabrahma, which becomes the source of all existence. So he continues further, the highest intelligences in the universe know nothing of it, so far as they can explore. The manifested universe is boundless and infinite. So here the student is continuing to express his idea about what the Mahatma Ji would say. He continues, our philosophy admits only of what is known. So our philosophy meaning the philosophies of the Mahatma. That is the trans-Himalayan esoteric Arhat philosophy. That would admit only of what is known and knowable. This is admittedly unknowable even to the planetaries. What is unknowable to the planetaries? The absolute, which is beyond this manifested universe, the absolute beyond the conditioned, that is admittedly unknowable even to the planetaries, and it is ex hypothesis non-existent. Why then consider it? So this is what the Mahatmas would have said, as Sinnet is speaking. Even were this conception correct, how does it concern us? For thousands of years, the highest planetaries have explored the universe. They have found no limits to it. It is even this manifested universe is beyond our uh, total grasp. We cannot find its boundaries, and nothing in it guided or governed by any external impulse. Everything, on the contrary, proceeding from internal impulses, which they understand, meaning which the planetaries understand, and which suffice to explain everything they have ever had cognizance of. So, what he's saying is that even the highest planetaries, they have not been able to reach the boundaries of the manifested universe. And everything that is taking place in the universe has its reason or its impulse within this universe only. There is nothing outside of it which is influencing its evolution. So, this internal impulse by which the universe is guided, which we call the universal laws, that is the universal order of manifestation. And as per this universal order, the universe evolves. In Sanskrit, this is called as Rit. Okay, Satya Rita Brihat. So in Sanskrit, this universal order according to which the universe evolves, it is called Rit. Further, he says, a key born then to introduce this unnecessary conception of something which, as non-existent for us, is a nothing, outside and beyond what for us is limitless and eternal. When, whether it exists or not, plays no discoverable part in anything that concerns us. So what he's trying to say here is, whether or not there is anything beyond the manifested universe, it does not matter to us because it shows no influence over the universe. The inherent laws of the universe, they are sufficient to explain everything that is evolving and manifesting in it. So, the fact is your Western philosophical conceptions are monarchical, ours democratic. Monarchy means the rule of the king. Democracy means where there is a government that is elected by the people. Okay. So by analogy, the same difference applies to Western and Eastern philosophy. And further he mentions, you are only able to think of the universe as governed by a king. So monarchy, a monarchical system. So this is how the Western people, the Western minds, they think. While we know it to be a republic, the Eastern adepts or Mahatmas, they know it to be a republic in which the aggregate and indwelling intelligences rule in the universe. The aggregate and indwelling intelligences rule. So they know it to be a republic. So Sinnet has mentioned that this is what the Mahatmas will say. Now to that, the Mahatma Ji is answering that there is more to this concept. Whatever Sinnet has mentioned, there is more to this concept. But what he has said, that they would say too. So it is correct. He is affirming that it is correct. Then we move to the next question in which the pupil asks, who are the artificers? Artificers of the world. Artificers are the craftsmen or the builders or the inventors who has made this world. And the answer is given by the Mahatma, Dhyan Chauhan's planetaries. So planetary spirits, if we read the secret doctrine, in that there is a lot of clarification on these planetary spirits. They are evolved beings of many classes and levels. They belong to the hierarchies which have dominion, meaning who are in charge of planets and chains of globe. They are the regent of that globe, the ruler, the regent of that globe, and they are equivalent to the Dhyani Chauhans and Dhyani Buddhas. These planetary spirits, they have passed through the stages of human evolution in previous cycles, previous manvantars. And planetary spirits are also called cosmocrators. Cosmocrators, meaning building the cosmos. They fashion or they build from this cosmic matter. This Madame Blavatsky has mentioned in her collected writings. And therefore, they are, in a way, in a sense, they are the builders. They are concerned with the material evolution. They use this cosmic matter for building these chains and globes and planetary systems. So they are concerned with material evolution. Whereas the Dhyani Buddhas, they are concerned with spiritual evolution. They are concerned with the spirit, not with matter. In regards to man, in our constitution also, man has a septenary constitution. So in regards to man, planetary spirits, they deal with the lower four principles in human beings. Our lower four principles is the personality. Okay. Whereas the Dhyani Buddhas, they are concerned with the higher, the upper triad of man, that is spiritual. So same way for the universe also, that the planetary spirits, they deal with matter. They use cosmic matter for building the universe. That is the personality of the universe or the heavenly man. And the Dhyani Buddhas are concerned with the higher three, the upper triad. Now pinned next to that essay, a message was written. So essay meaning, see these question and answers, they are taken from a manuscript of AP Sinnet. So pinned next to it, there was a note which was written, Gyu Thog, phenomenal or material universe. Secret name, Aja Shakti. Vishwaran Zikten, Jas Cosmogony. From Zikten, living world. And Jas meaning to make. Cha, that is equal to Rab, Genesis. So a lot of Tibetan terms have been used in this. Now what we can understand from here, that the material universe, which is the phenomenal universe, the transient universe, the lower four planes, it is brought into being by the Aja Shakti. Okay. The question was, who are the creators or the artificers of this world? Who has created, how this world has come into being? The answer is now here given with more clarity. It is the Aja Shakti. What is Aja Shakti? See, it comes from the Sanskrit root sound, ja. Ja or Jata. Jata in Sanskrit means to be born. Jata Veda comes in many of the mantra. The being who knows all the beings who have taken birth, that is the sun, Jata Veda. Now, instead of Jata, when you add this prefix a, so Aja, that which is not born. Aja meaning which is not born, which is eternal. So this eternal Aja Shakti, the unborn eternal Shakti, that brings about the genesis of this phenomenal universe. If you see in the Indian philosophies, the same concept is there. Shiv and Shakti. Shakti is inherent in Shiv. It is Shiva's Shakti only. Okay. And it is the Shakti which brings about the manifestation. Also, this concept of Satchitanand. So, Satchidanand. Sat is Shiva. Chit is the pure consciousness. And in Chit is inherent the Chit Shakti. So, the Chit Shakti is what brings about the genesis of the universe. You will find this concept of Shakti in all the philosophies. So, moving on to the 23rd question. The universe may primarily be conceived as space, pervaded by an infinite and eternal and homogeneous congery of molecules. That is a collection of molecules. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. So, universe is conceived as space pervaded by an infinite and eternal and homogeneous congery or collection of molecules, in which motion, their latent unconscious life, is inherent. So, motion is the latent unconscious life, inherent in the particles of matter. In this, its passive unmanifested state, it may be regarded as chaos. So Mahatma Ji answers, yes, if only people were capable of conceiving what real chaos is, which they are not. So what is chaos in our conception? Now, we'll see what Madame Blavatsky has explained about this in The Secret Doctrine. She speaks about chaos as being the pre-cosmic substance before the universe came into manifestation. It is equivalent to the Moola Prakriti of the Hindus. This is what Madame Blavatsky has written in The Secret Doctrine, that it is the pre-cosmic substance before the universe came into manifestation, and it is equivalent to Moola Prakriti. In Greek mythology, it refers to the great deep or abyss in cosmology. Chaos is described as the matrix of all created things. That means all the things which get created, they come out or they emanate from this pre-cosmic substance, which is called chaos. And in this substance, everything is contained. Out of it has come the macrocosm, and later on by evolution and division, every separate being came into existence. So it is the universal matrix of cosmos. Okay, this universal matrix of cosmos in Vedanta, it is personified as Aditi. This is also given in the Secret Doctrine. It is personified as Aditi, or Prakriti. And it symbolizes this dual character of the macrocosm and the microcosm. So moving now to that was about chaos. What is chaos? Further, the pupil continues with the question, though truly a unity, it may be conceived in its various aspects as, meaning chaos may be conceived as thog, that is space, in regard to its boundless extension, coexisting with Niang, that is eternity. Eternity meaning eternal infinite space, because eternal infinite space is an aspect of chaos. Then it may be in regard to its endless duration, that is called Zigu, and cosmic matter in regards to its molecules, and Khoriva, that is cosmic force in regard to its all-pervading motion. So you see here what is mentioned: space, duration, motion. Madame Blavatsky has also mentioned that these are the three eternals, and additionally cosmic matter, which is eternal. So cosmic matter also in regard to its molecule. So that is what is chaos. That is how chaos may be conceived. And further he says that these four conceptions, that is space, duration, motion, and cosmic matter, they must be held to indicate not four elements composing a compound, but rather four properties or attributes of one single thing. Just as on earth, one thing may be hot or luminous or heavy, it may be in motion. So similarly, these are four aspects of or four properties of one single thing. This universe, one and indivisible in its passive, unmanifested form, this chaos is for us non-existent. So whatever has been mentioned above, that is okay. Mahatma Ji doesn't comment on that. But for this the last phrase, that this chaos is for us non-existent, for that Mahatma Ji says that he may consider, Sinnet may consider it non-existent. But why should he speak for others? Why he is speaking on behalf of everyone? Does everyone consider it non-existent? So the pupil says, but throughout it, meaning throughout chaos, are scattered centers of activity. So that chaos is the pre-cosmic substance, and throughout that substance are scattered centers of activity or evolution. And wherever and whenever activity prevails, these portions of the whole differentiate, meaning they come into manifestation. And where this occurs, homogeneity ceases. Now, this differentiation is due to, first, to the greater or less proximity of the molecules. Second, to their greater or less attenuation. greater or less attenuation. Attenuation means reduction of the force or reduction of effect or value of something. A decrease in something is attenuation. So Mahatma Ji says, what does the second point mean? To their greater or lesser attenuation. What does Sinnet mean by that? How can primal molecules grow thinner or fatter? Ex nihil, etc. Nihil means nothing. So Mahatma Ji says, I was not aware that atoms were considered by you as something nihil, meaning something, rather not something, may be considered nothing. He questions them that are not the molecules considered in science as compound atoms? Your science knows only of such compound molecules, and a primal atom is and will remain forever as a hypothetical abstraction for it. Because science knows only physical matter. So we know elements, compounds, and molecules and atoms. We know all those things. But what is a primal atom? Does physical science know about that? So it will always remain an abstraction for science. So what actually is a primal atom? Do we understand, we being students of theosophy and having studied theosophy for so long? So what is stated in the secret doctrine? See, again, I'm saying the advantage of studying the Mahatma letters now is because many concepts and terms given here, they are explained by Madame Blavatsky in secret doctrine. So we can understand these letters better. So in the secret doctrine, volume 1, it is stated that this one cosmic atom, it becomes 7 atoms on the plane of matter. The same atom becomes 7 rays on the plane of spirit. And the same atom becomes the 7 creative forces of nature, which radiate from the root essence. So you see what is given? Matter, spirit, creative forces. 7 planes of matter, 7 rays on the plane of spirit, and 7 creative forces. Matter, spirit, forces, that is consciousness, energy, substance. And all are emanating from this one cosmic atom. So you can understand one cosmic atom is the unity. It is the one element from which all of this is manifested. Consciousness, energy, substance. And all are septenary. So we can say cosmic atom is same as the one element. Now in a previous letter in the same book, Mahatma Letters, it is stated that the potentiality which develops finally in a perfected planetary spirit. A planetary spirit is a very high spiritual being, at least much higher than human being. So the potentiality of that planetary spirit, it lurks in, is in fact that primordial cosmic atom. It is present, that potentiality is present in that cosmic atom. And this cosmic atom, it gives rise to other centers of activity in the in the cosmos. Okay, so these are the different solar systems which manifest in this, what we can say, the pre-cosmic substance. So this cosmic atom, it is the essence of every particle in nature, of every being. And therefore it is said that every particle has the potential to unfold into a entire universe. Because the cosmic atom has that essence, consciousness, energy, substance. And this cosmic atom is the essence of every particle which has already manifested. It is in our being, in our constitution, every particle has that essence. So this is the information which was given about cosmic atom in the theosophical literature, especially in Madame Blavatsky's writings. Now further, Mahatma Ji is saying, we go to the... So that was about the primal atom, which Mahatma Ji said will remain a hypothetical abstraction for science. Further, he says that science can know nothing of the nature of atoms outside the region of effects on her globe. That means on the physical earth. Outside the physical earth, the science knows nothing about the nature of atoms. And even that atom she calls indivisible, which we do not. Now, with some advance in science, it has been proven that the atom itself is made up of subatomic particles, the quarks. Okay, neutrons, protons, electrons, and then the quarks within them. So, but here it is mentioned, Mahatma Ji says that she calls that atom indivisible, which we do not. For we know of the existence and properties of the universal solvent. Another term, universal solvent. The essence of the Pancha Mahabhutam. Universal solvent is the essence of the Pancha Mahabhut, the 5 cosmic elements. Pancha Mahabhut, we all are, mostly all of us are aware. They are Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. And these cosmic elements, they constitute the planes of substance. They are the matter side of the universe. These Pancha Mahabhut, from where do they emanate? They emanate from the subtle or the rudimentary cosmic elements, which are called Tanmatra. The Tanmatra are Shabd, Sparsha, Rupa, Ras, Gandh. So sequentially, from the previous one, the next one is evolved, the cosmic elements. Now, these subtle elements or rudimentary elements, they themselves evolve from the cosmic ego or the cosmic individuality. To understand it, take an analogy of man. What is the ego in man or the individuality? It is the higher 3 principles, Atma, Buddhi, Manas. So same way for the macrocosm or for the cosmic being, it is the upper 3 cosmic principles that constitutes the cosmic ego or the cosmic individuality. And the Tanmatras, they evolve from that cosmic ego. And then from the Tanmatras, these Panchamahabhut, they evolve. Okay. So what is the universal solvent? The universal solvent is that cosmic individuality. And during Pralay, what happens? All of these Panchamahabhut, Prithvi goes back into Jal, Jal goes into Agni, Agni into Vayu, Vayu into Akash, and Akash is dissolved in this universal solvent, which is the cosmic being, the cosmic individuality. And therefore, the cosmic individuality is termed by Mahatma Ji as the universal solvent, because everything dissolves in that, the matter or the substance, the phenomenal world, the phenomenal planes, they dissolve in it during Pralay. Now, Mahatma Ji further says that even the existence of the atoms which compose the unseen medium through which the power which magnetizes instantly a short iron rod placed across the center of a hoop 2 yards in diameter, around which a wire thickly covered with India rubber is coiled. Even the existence of such atoms, I say, remains an open question. And science remains puzzled and embarrassed to decide whether it is an action at a distance without or with some mysterious medium or what. So here Mahatma Ji is referring to physical science, the physics which we are studying today. And this is a description about creating electromagnets. Okay, so this is the well-known method. How to create an electromagnet. You take an insulated copper wire and it is wound in a helical shape or a cylindrical shape. So when electric current is passed through that copper coil, it generates a magnetic field. Okay, and since you have coiled the copper coil cylindrically, so this magnetic field is created along the axis of that cylinder. This magnetic field, it will magnetize any ferromagnet. Ferromagnet is like a ferromagnetic material like iron. Iron can get magnetized. So if you place an iron bar inside this cylinder, then it will become magnetic. Okay, normally a piece of iron is not magnetic, but it becomes a magnet when you place it inside this field or bar. Now that iron is not touching the copper wire or any part of that copper coil, but just by placing it in that magnetic field, it is acting like a magnet. It becomes magnetized. And what is in between? What is this magnetic field? What are the particles? How they are acting? Why this piece of iron is becoming magnetized? Mahatma Ji says that science has no idea. Science is not sure about the nature of that medium or the magnetic field, which is between the electrical coil and that piece of iron, and how this force is transmitted from the coil to the piece of iron. Okay, so they don't even know the physical fields, physical magnetic field, and how it is operating. How can they even conceive of those fields of the cosmic elements? Earth, water, fire, air, and Akash. It is so difficult to have that conception. This is the point which he is trying to make. Then, so these were the first two reasons of the reasons which Sinnet was giving. The differentiation from chaos. So the chaos is a homogeneous field, cosmic matter, and it differentiates because one, he mentioned proximity of the molecules. Second, he mentioned attenuation. And Mahatmaji said, how can it be attenuated? And then the third reason he gives now. So that third point is to change their polarity. The third reason of differentiation in chaos, as understood by Sinnet, it is given as to changes in their polarity. The polarity of what? That is polarity of the molecules, particles of matter. So this is a very long question, and the pupil, he wants to explain his point of view, and then towards the end, he raises a question. So this differentiation of polarity that he is talking about, this differentiation in activity, it is manifestation. And everything so differentiated comes into existence or becomes conceivable for us. Okay. So differentiation of that homogeneous matter, then it starts manifesting. And this differentiation is happening at different points in that sea of homogeneous cosmic matter. So each such center of activity, and such centers are countless. So each such centers of activity, it marks a solar system. So he's trying to build up this hypothesis of how the solar system is manifesting in this sea of cosmic matter. But these are still rarely named in Gurgit Vasto. That means hanging in the all-pervading ocean of unmanifested universe. And why unmanifested universe? Because it is a sea of cosmic matter, the sea of chaos, which is unmanifest. So in that ocean, these centers where this differentiation has started happening, so those solar systems are coming into being. So they are like hanging in this sea of unmanifested matter. And that unmanifested matter, it is basically the substratum of this universe. It is the one reality in which all the solar systems are manifesting. So out of which new manifestations are perpetually evolving, out of that substratum of one reality, new manifestations are perpetually evolving, and into the oblivion of which others whose cycle has been completed, they are returning. Those solar systems whose cycle has completed, they are returning into that state of that homogeneity in that one substratum of one reality. So alternations of activity and passivity constitute the cyclic law of the universe. As the microcosm, man has his days and nights, his waking and his sleeping hours, so has the earth, which a microcosm to him, meaning earth is microcosm to the man. And the earth is a microcosm, earth is a macrocosm to man, and earth is a microcosm to the solar system. So also this solar system, it is macrocosm to a single globe. The solar system is a macrocosm to the earth. But in itself, the solar system is a microcosm to the universe. So this is actually right. Just as man has his days and nights, similarly, days and nights of the earth or any globe, they constitute the planetary Manvantar and Pralay. Similarly, the days and nights of the solar system, they constitute the solar Manvantar and Pralay. And then days and nights of the entire universe, it constitutes the cosmic Manvantar and the cosmic Pralay. So that cosmic Manvantar, that cycle or that duration is the age of Brahma. Okay, so this is the meaning of days and nights of microcosms and the macrocosms. Then the student continues his question. He says that the universe itself must similarly have its days and nights of activity and passivity, is probable by analogy. But if so, these cover periods unthinkable, and the fact remains unknowable by the highest intelligences conditioned in the universe. Is this correct? If not, when the entire universe goes into pralay, what is the Tibetan word for that? How can anyone know about it? Know anything about it? So Mahatma Ji gives the answer, Mahabardo. The period between death and regeneration of man is so called. Also, Chebardo. They can know, for this is but our scan, or as you say, by analogy. They have scanned it, they have come to know it by analogy. So, Bardo, we have heard this term Bardo previously in the Mahatma letters. Just like in regard to man, Bardo means the period between his physical death and rebirth. A human being, when his physical death occurs, then the principles, the physical body is dissolved, but the principles move on to the subtle world. And then after a certain duration, he takes birth again. The individuality or the ego reincarnates. So that duration between one birth and the other birth, it is called Bardo. Now, this Mahabardo is the Tibetan word for period between the dissolution of the entire universe and its subsequent re-emergence. So when we speak of universe, of the macrocosm, you can think of it as the cosmic being or the heavenly man. So Mahabardo is the duration between one manifestation of that heavenly man and the subsequent. So period between that. So that is the pralay or the Mahabardo. It is the period when activity of the entire cosmos ceases, because that cosmos is the heavenly man. Okay. So activity of the entire cosmos ceases. That means all the human beings, all planets, all solar systems, the entire cosmos, it ceases and it enters into a state of Mahapralay. So Mahatma Ji says that the highest intelligences, they actually know this as the truth. But for us, we can infer this only by an analogy. The pupil continues the question that the night of the solar system, the pralay of the Hindus, the Mahabardo or the great night of the mind of the Tibetans, involves the disintegration of all form and the return of that portion of the universe occupied by that system to its passive unmanifested condition. Space pervaded by atoms in motion. That is the passive unmanifested condition. Why? Because space, matter, motion, they are all eternal. Space, matter, motion, they are the three eternals. It means here that the manifested or the conditioned forms and objects, they go back to their source. Okay. So it means they return to the passive unmanifested condition. Now the question continues. Further, everything else passes away for the time, but matter, which these ultimate atoms represent, though at times objective, at times potential or subjective, now organized, now unorganized. So this matter, it keeps moving in and out of objectivity and subjectivity. It becomes organized when it is manifested and objective. It becomes unorganized when it goes back to its source or the causal state. So this matter, these ultimate atoms, that is eternal and indestructible, and motion is the imperishable life. That is conscious or unconscious as the case may be of matter. Motion is the imperishable life of matter. This we have seen because motion is also eternal, matter is also eternal. So even if it is the state of pralay, that motion is inherent in the matter which is there in the form of pralay. Now even therefore during the night of mind, when all other forces are paralyzed, when Chang, that is omniscience, and Chang Mi Shi Kon, that is ignorance. So when omniscience and ignorance both sleep, they are asleep, meaning they are latent, and everything else rests. This latent unconscious life unceasingly maintains the molecules in which it is inherent. What is the latent unconscious life? It is the motion. So that motion is inherent in blind, restless, and purposeless motion, inter se. So whatever has been mentioned till now, that is correct. Mahatma Ji doesn't comment on that. But to this last part, that this inherent life, it is in blind, restless, and purposeless motion. For that, Mahatma Ji objects. He says, why should it be more purposeless and resultless than the unconscious blind motion of the atoms in any fetus preparing for birth? A human child which is going to take birth. So why should that life be purposeless, any more purposeless than it is in such a fetus which is going to be born? So what idea is being put forth here? The most part, whatever the pupil has mentioned, that is right. But here in the last part that he mentioned, that the latent unconscious life, which is inherent in matter during pralay, it has purposeless motion. That is what the pupil is saying. This idea is not right. It is not purposeless motion. Rather, it is this life or this motion which brings forth the birth of universes periodically. And it brings forth these birth of universe periodically from pralay, just as birth of a child. So this periodic manifestation of universe, it happens due to that inherent life, even though it is in pralay. So it is not purposeless. Now, continuing the question. The pupil continues. The solar system has disappeared even to the highest intelligences in other solar systems. Is this correct? Can the planetaries in any way cognize the passive, non-being portions of the universe? The answer to this is yes, they can. Why does he say they can? Now consider the existence of millions of stars we see in the night sky. So by analogy, each star system is like our own solar system. So in that star system also, there may be beings who are evolving. There may be planetaries in that system. Now, when any star system goes into pralay, any star system equivalent to our solar system, so it is equivalent to solar pralay. Then the planetaries of another star system, they are able to cognize, they are able to know that yes, a certain star has now dissolved. In fact, one such reference is given in the Mahatma letter itself. So that is why he says that yes, they can. Planetaries present in another solar system, they can know, they can come to know that another system has gone into pralay. The next question is adepts. Adepts can at will, I know, create forms out of cosmic matter. But probably this cosmic matter is many degrees from matter as it exists in the passive latent universe, which perhaps should rather be called potential rather than cosmic matter. Mahatma Ji doesn't like the word potential. He says potential is a possibility. It is not an actuality. So you should find a better word. See, this just goes on to indicate that there was this constraint of language, the constraint of English language, and the difficulties which the adepts were experiencing in trying to explain the esoteric concepts of the Eastern philosophies to the Western mind. Okay. Moreover, here this statement is also pointing to the fact in which Sinnet has mentioned that adepts can at will create forms out of cosmic matter. So that is correct. Mahatma Ji doesn't object to that. This is this power of creating. This is the creative power of thought. The thought utilizing the will. This is called Kriya Shakti. So I think I will take one more slide and then we can stop. So the question continues here. But nothing has been annihilated any more than anything has ever been created. Only this recently active, organized, manifested, and existing portion of the universe, losing all differentiation of its parts, has passed into its primordial passive, homogeneous unmanifested, and quad all intelligences, non-existent or inconceivable state. It has resettled into chaos. So this is basically the law of conservation. Neither matter nor energy can be created or destroyed. Matter is eternal. So all matter and also all the intelligent beings that we see in manifestation, which are active and which have an organized structure, all of that dissolves back into passivity and they are resting in their causal states. Okay, they are resettled into chaos. So to continue the question, the pupil asks, if it is asked, whence these alterations of activity and passivity, the reply is that they are the law inherent in the universe. Here a footnote should come to purport of the argument approved by you, meaning approved by the Mahatma, against the unnecessary creation of an intelligence outside the self-governed universe. So what Sinnet is saying that the Mahatma Ji will definitely say, he should say at this point, that there is no extra cosmic God who has created this universe. So what Mahatma Ji says, if you can show me one being or object in the universe which does not originate and develop through and in accordance with the blind law. He's using the term blind law to point to the cosmic law of evolution. So, if anything which is not originating or developing according to this cosmic law of evolution, then only will your argument hold good. Meaning, then only the footnote will be necessary. Because this doctrine of evolution, what as it is being taught by the Mahatmas, that is an eternal protest for the Western mind. This eternal law of evolution, the cyclic law of evolution. Okay, that is what has been taught in the theosophic literature. There are smaller cycles within larger cycles. And there is no man, there is no object to which this law does not apply. So everything is evolved according to these cycles, the evolutionary cycles. Planetary cycle, solar cycle, then the universal cycle. So, but the Western mind, they could hardly come to terms with this. And they were always trying to argue about it or protest against it. So Mahatma Ji says no footnote is necessary. Okay? If you can show me anything which does not follow these cyclic evolution, only then footnote is necessary. Otherwise, no. So I think let us stop here because this question is still very long and carries forward. So we can continue the remaining part in our next session.
Thank you, Vibha ji. Thank you so much. So now I welcome Dr. Sushma ji to give the translation in Hindi. Thank you.
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग। थैंक यू विभा जी, आपने इतनी कठिन सब्जेक्ट मैटर को इतनी सरलता से और स्पष्टता से आपने व्यक्त किया है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और धन्यवाद विमल जी। अब मैं आज क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर एचपीबी टू एपी सिनेट के अपेंडिक्स सेकेंड का 3rd भाग प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। यह पत्र जनवरी 1882 के अंक में प्रकाशित हुआ था। चूंकि लास्ट टाइम हम लोगों ने प्रश्न किया था, तो उसी के शुरुआत से ही मैं वो इसको रीड कर रही हूँ। शिष्य पूछते हैं कि बुराई की उत्पत्ति की समस्या जिसका समाधान चीनी शोधन संयंत्र की उपना के माध्यम से किया गया है। तो गुरुदेव उत्तर देते हैं कि जितनी अधिक चीनी परिष्कृत होती है, पेट में उतनी ही खमीर की प्रक्रिया उत्पन्न होती है और उतने ही अधिक कीड़े यानी वर्म्स उत्पन्न होते हैं। सिनेट कहते हैं कि यह व्यर्थ है। गुरुदेव कहते हैं मुझे वह दार्शनिक बताइए जो इसे व्यर्थ साबित कर सके। शिष्य का प्रश्न है, यह कहना कि अच्छाई को प्रकट करने जितना कि प्रकाश को बोधगम बनाने के लिए अंधकार, यह बद्ध या सीमित के लिए हो सकता है, किंतु सर्वशक्तिमान के लिए कुछ भी आवश्यक नहीं। गुरुदेव उत्तर देते हैं, पहले उसे प्रमाणित या सिद्ध करो। फिर प्रश्न है, लेकिन स्पष्ट रूप से एक बद्ध कारक यानी कंडीशनड एजेंसी अंतिम कारण नहीं है। इसके ऊपर वह नियम या सिद्धांत है जो उसे बद्ध करता है। गुरुदेव उत्तर देते हैं, यह कैसे है, कहाँ है? जब तक आप एक निरपेक्ष यानी एब्सोल्यूट और असीम के बाहर कुछ नहीं बनाते। फिर कहते हैं कि समस्या तो पर्दे के पीछे है। प्रश्न है, समस्या तो पर्दे के पीछे है जो अव्यक्त अंतिम कारण यानी नॉन मैनिफेस्टेड फाइनल कॉज को व्यक्त ब्रह्मांड यानी मैनिफेस्टेड यूनिवर्स से अलग करता है। वह इस बद्ध ब्रह्मांड के मन की बोधगम्यता से परे है। मास्टर कहते हैं वास्तव में ऐसा नहीं है। शिष्य फिर प्रश्न करते हैं, परम अनंत अकल्पनीय है, हम न तो इसे समझ सकते हैं और न ही मनुष्य के समक्ष इसके तरीकों का कोई औचित्य सिद्ध कर सकते हैं। मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं, तो फिर समय क्यों व्यर्थ करें? आपको ऐसा करने के लिए किसने अधिकृत किया? आपकी सर्वव्यापी परम शक्ति विद्यमान है, लेकिन वह वास्तव में पदार्थ है जिसका जीवन, गति, इच्छा शक्ति और तंत्रिका शक्ति का एक एवं विद्युत है। किंतु पुरुष सोच सकता है केवल प्रकृति के माध्यम से। यह सब प्रश्न 20 से संबंधित थे। अब प्रश्न 21वां है। सिनेट कहते हैं आप जो कहेंगे वह यह होगा। सिनेट खुद ही बहुत लंबा प्रश्न है ये। ऐसा हो या न हो, बद्ध से परे निरपेक्ष की परिकल्पना के संबंध में विद इन ब्रैकेट यह एक शुद्ध परिकल्पना है और हमेशा बनी रहेगी। ब्रह्मांड की सर्वोच्च बुद्धिमत्ता जहां तक वो खो सकती है, इसके बारे में कुछ भी नहीं जानती। प्रकट ब्रह्मांड असीम और अनंत है। हमारा दर्शन केवल उसी को स्वीकार करता है जो ज्ञात और ज्ञेय है। यह तो स्वीकृत है कि यह तो प्लेनेटरीज के लिए भी अज्ञात है। यह तो पूर्व परिकल्पनाओं के अनुसार अस्तित्वहीन है। तो फिर इस पर विचार क्यों करें? अगर यह अवधारणा सही भी है तो हमारा इससे क्या संबंध? हजारों सालों से सर्वोच्च प्लेनेटरीज ने ब्रह्मांड की खोज की। उन्होंने जाना कि इसकी कोई सीमा नहीं है और यह किसी भी बाहरी आवेग द्वारा निर्देशित व नियंत्रित नहीं है। इसके विपरीत सब कुछ आंतरिक आवेग से उत्पन्न होता है जिसे वह समझते हैं। तो फिर इस अनावश्यक अवधारणा को प्रस्तुत करना व्यर्थ है जो हमारे लिए अस्तित्वहीन है। अतः सच तो यह है कि आपकी पश्चिमी दार्शनिक अवधारणाएं राजतंत्रात्मक है यानी मोनार्किकल है और हमारी तांत्रिक यानी डेमोक्रेटिक है। आप केवल एक राजा की दृष्टि से ही शाश्वत ब्रह्मांड के विषय में सोच सकते हैं, जबकि हम जानते हैं कि एक ऐसा गणराज्य है या ऐसा रिपब्लिक है जिसमें समग्र अंतर्निहित बुद्धि शासन करती है। मास्टर कहते हैं कि हम और कुछ भी कह सकते हैं, किंतु बेहतर है कि हम ना कहें। अब शिष्य का प्रश्न है कि संसार के शिल्पकार कौन है? गुरुदेव का उत्तर है ध्यान चौहान। अगले निबंध में बताया गया है कि यूथाग यानी भौतिक ब्रह्मांड, जिसका गुप्त नाम है अदशक्ति, विश्वम जिक्तेन, जैस यानी जिक्तेन का तात्पर्य जीवित जगत और जैस का तात्पर्य है टू मेक या निर्माण करना, और छ रब का तात्पर्य है जेनेसिस या उत्पत्ति। प्रश्न 23वां है। शिष्य का प्रश्न है, ब्रह्मांड को मुख्यतः अणुओं के एक अनंत शाश्वत और समरूप होमोजेनस समूह से व्याप्त अंतरिक्ष के रूप में माना जा सकता है, जिसकी गति में उनका अव्यक्त अचेतन जीवन अंतर्निहित है। विद इन ब्रैकेट, इस निष्क्रिय अव्यक्त अवस्था में इसे क्योस माना जा सकता है। सॉरी। गुरुदेव कहते हैं, काश लोग ये समझ पाते कि वास्तविक अराजकता क्या है, जो वो नहीं समझ पाते। 23वां प्रश्न अभी कंटिन्यू है। यद्यपि यह वास्तव में एक एकता है, फिर भी इसके विभिन्न पहलुओं के संबंध में यह थाग यानी अंतरिक्ष का संबंध निम्न से है। अपने असीम विस्तार के साथ इसका सह अस्तित्व जो है वह यानी इटर्निटी नियंग में है। अपनी अंतहीन अवधि के सह अस्तित्व जीग्यू में है। ब्रह्मांडीय पदार्थ अणुओं के साथ सह अस्तित्व है और ब्रह्मांडीय बल अपनी सर्वव्यापी गति में खोरीवा है। सॉरी। लेकिन इन चार अवधारणाओं का एक यौगिक बनाने वाले चार तत्वों के रूप में नहीं है, बल्कि इन्हें एक ही वस्तु के चार गुणों या विशेषताओं को इंगित करने के लिए माना जाना चाहिए। जैसे पृथ्वी पर एक वस्तु गर्म, चमकदार, भारी और गतिशील हो सकती है, यह ब्रह्मांड अपने निष्क्रिय अव्यक्त यानी पैसिव अनमैनिफेस्टेड रूप में एक वन है और अविभाज्य है, और यह अव्यक्त क्योस हमारे लिए अस्तित्वहीन है। गुरुदेव का उत्तर है, यह आपके लिए है, दूसरों के विषय में हम ऐसा क्यों कहें। प्रश्न 23वां अभी कंटिन्यू है। शिष्य कहते हैं, लेकिन इसमें सर्वत्र गतिविधि या विकास के बिखरे हुए केंद्र है, और जहां भी है और जब भी गतिविधि प्रबल होती है, वह समग्र के कुछ भाग को पृथक या विभेदित करती है, यानी डिफरेंशिएट करती है, और जहां ऐसा होता है वहां समरूपता समाप्त हो जाती है। यानी पृथक्करण इस पृथक्करण के दो कारण हैं। पहला, अणुओं का अधिक या कम निकटता, और दूसरा इसके अधिक या कम विरल होने के कारण, यानी एटीन्यूएशन के कारण। गुरुदेव उत्तर देते हैं, इस दूसरे बिंदु यानी पॉइंट का क्या तात्पर्य है। आदिम अणु यानी प्राइमल मॉलिक्यूल्स बिना किसी कारण के कैसे मोटे या पतले हो सकते हैं। गुरुदेव कहते हैं, मुझे नहीं पता कि आप परमाणुओं को शून्य मानते हैं। क्या विज्ञान में अणुओं को यौगिक परमाणु नहीं माना जाता। आपका विज्ञान केवल ऐसे यौगिक अणुओं के बारे में जानता है, और एक आदि परमाणु जिसके लिए हमेशा एक काल्पनिक अमूर्तताओं यानी हाइपोथेटिकल एब्स्ट्रैक्शन में ये रहेगी। ये तथ्य विज्ञान अपने ग्रह पर प्रभाव क्षेत्र के बाहर परमाणुओं की प्रकृति के बारे में कुछ नहीं जान सकता, यहाँ तक कि उस परमाणु के विषय में भी नहीं जिसे वह अभी अविभाज्य कहता है, जिसे हम नहीं जानते। सॉरी। क्योंकि हम सार्वभौमिक विलायक यानी यूनिवर्सल सॉल्वेंट पंच महाभूतों, पांच तत्वों के सार के अस्तित्व एवं गुणों के बारे में जानते हैं, यहाँ तक कि उन परमाणुओं के अस्तित्व के बारे में भी, जो उस अदृश्य माध्यम का निर्माण करते हैं, जिसके माध्यम से वह शक्ति जो 2 गज व्यास के घेरे के एक केंद्र में रखी एक छोटी लोहे की छड़ को, जिसके चारों ओर उसमें इंडियन रबड़ लिखा है, इंडियन रबड़ से ढका एक मोटा तार कुंडलित यानी कॉइल्ड है, उसे तुरंत चुंबकित कर देती है, यानी मैग्नेटाइज कर देती है। मैं कहता हूं कि यहाँ तक ऐसे परमाणुओं का अस्तित्व भी एक खुला प्रश्न बना हुआ है, और विज्ञान ये कहने में उलझने एवं शर्मिंदगी महसूस करता है। यह एक दूरस्थ बाहरी क्रिया है, एक रहस्यमय माध्यम से ऐसा होता है। शिष्य पुनः अपनी अवधारणा प्रकट करते हैं। वो प्रश्न करते हैं, उनकी ध्रुवता यानी पोलैरिटी में परिवर्तन, उसकी गतिविधियों में विभेजन यानी डिफरेंशिएशन ही अभिव्यक्ति है, और इस प्रकार विभेदित प्रत्येक वस्तु अस्तित्व में आती है और हमारे लिए बोधगम यानी कंसीवेबल हो जाती है। क्रिया का प्रत्येक केंद्र एक सौरमंडल का प्रतीक है, लेकिन अभी भी वास्तव में कुछ वस्तु दुर्लभ है। यह एक अव्यक्त ब्रह्मांड महासागर में लटके हुए हैं, जहां से नई अभिव्यक्तियां निरंतर विकसित हो रही हैं, और जिनके विस्मरण से यानी ऑब्लिवियन से अन्य अभिव्यक्तियां जिनका चक्र पूरा हो चुका है निरंतर लौट रही हैं। क्रियाशीलता और निष्क्रियता का क्रम परिवर्तन ब्रह्मांड के चक्रीय नियम का निर्माण करता है। जैसे सूक्ष्म जगत में मनुष्य के दिन और रात, उसके जागने और सोने के घंटे होते हैं, वैसे ही पृथ्वी के भी दिन और रात होते हैं, जो उसके लिए स्थूल जगत है यानी मैक्रोकॉस्म है, और सौर मंडल के लिए भी एक सूक्ष्म जगत है। और इसी प्रकार यह पृथ्वी भी है, जो एकल गोले के लिए एक स्थूल जगत है। स्वयं ब्रह्मांड के लिए एक सूक्ष्म जगत है। ब्रह्मांड में भी इसी प्रकार क्रियाशीलता और निष्क्रियता के दिन और रात होंगे। यह सादृश्य द्वारा संभव है, लेकिन यदि ऐसा है तो ये अकल्पनीय काल को समावित करते हैं, और यह तथ्य ब्रह्मांड में स्थित सर्वोच्च बुद्धि द्वारा अज्ञात ही रहता है। शिष्य पुनः पूछते हैं, क्या यह सही है? यदि नहीं, तो जब तक ये संपूर्ण ब्रह्मांड प्रलय में चला जाता है, तो कोई इसके बारे में कैसे जान सकता है? मास्टर कहते हैं कि मनुष्य की मृत्यु और पुनर्जन्म के बीच की अवधि, जिसे 6/2 भी कहा जाता है, दूसरा वे जान सकते हैं, क्योंकि यह हमारी अवलोकन है, हमारा अवलोकन है, या जिसे आप सादृश्य कहते हैं। शिष्य पुनः प्रश्न के रूप में अपनी अवधारणा बताते हैं। वो कहते हैं, सौरमंडल की रात्रि, हिंदुओं का प्रलय, तिब्बतियों का महाबारदो या मन की महान रात्रि, सभी रूपों के विघटन और उस प्रणाली द्वारा व्याप्त ब्रह्मांड के उस भाग की उसके निष्क्रिय अव्यक्त अवस्था में गतिशील परमाणुओं में व्याप्त अंतरिक्ष में वापसी को सम्मिलित करती है। बाकी सब कुछ समय के लिए नष्ट हो जाता है, लेकिन पदार्थ जिसका प्रतिनिधित्व ये परमाणु करते हैं, विद इन ब्रैकेट ये प्रश्न ये लिखा है, यह कभी वस्तुनिष्ठ यानी ऑब्जेक्टिव है, कभी संभाव है यानी कभी पोटेंशियल है, या व्यक्तिपरक है या सब्जेक्टिव है, कभी संगठित है या कभी असंगठित है। वे सब शाश्वत एवं अविनाशी है, और गति पदार्थ का अविनाशी जीवन जैसा भी हो, चेतन और अचेतन, वो है। इसलिए मन की रात्रि में जब सभी शक्तियां निष्क्रिय हो जाती हैं, तब च्यांग यानी सर्वज्ञता और च्यांग मिशिकान अज्ञानता दोनों सो जाते हैं, और बाकी सब कुछ भी विश्राम की स्थिति में होता है। तब यह सुप्त अचेतन जीवन, लेटेंट अनकॉन्शियस लाइफ, उन अणुओं को निरंतर बनाए रखती है, जिसमें यह अंध परिणामहीन और उद्देश्यहीन गति अंतर्निहित है। गुरुदेव कहते हैं कि यह किसी भी गर्भ में निहित असंबद्धता में अधिक उद्देश्यहीन और परिणामहीन क्यों न होना चाहिए। शिष्य फिर पुनः प्रश्न करते हैं, सौर मंडल अन्य उच्च बुद्धि वालों के लिए भी अदृश्य हो गया है, क्या यह सही है? क्या यह किसी भी तरह से ब्रह्मांड के निष्क्रिय अव्यक्त भागों को पहचान सकते हैं? गुरुदेव का उत्तर है, हाँ, पहचान सकते हैं। शिष्य कहते हैं, यह ब्रह्मांडीय पदार्थ निष्क्रिय अव्यक्त यानी पैसिव लेटेंट में विद्यमान पदार्थ से कई अंशों में भिन्न है। मुझे ज्ञात है कि सिद्ध यानी एडेप्ट्स अपनी इच्छा अनुसार ब्रह्मांडीय पदार्थ से आकृतियां बना सकते हैं, लेकिन संभवतः ब्रह्मांड, जिसे शायद ब्रह्मांडीय पदार्थ के बजाय संभाव यानी पोटेंशियल कहा जाना चाहिए। उत्तर है कि पोटेंशियलिटी यानी संभाव्यता तो एक संभावना है, यह वास्तविकता नहीं है। इसके लिए कोई बेहतर शब्द खोजे। शिष्य का प्रश्न है, लेकिन किसी भी चीज का विनाश उतना ही हुआ है जितना किसी भी चीज का निर्माण हुआ है। शिष्य केवल ब्रह्मांड का यह हाल ही में सक्रिय संगठित अभिव्यक्त और विद्यमान भाग अपने भागों के विभेदन को खोकर अपनी आदिम निष्क्रिय सजातीय अव्यक्त अवस्था में चला गया, और सभी बुद्धि के साथ अस्तित्वहीन या कल्पनीय अवस्था में पहुंच गया, और पुनः क्योस में स्थापित हो गया। यदि ये पूछा जाए कि क्रियाशीलता और निष्क्रियता के ये परिवर्तन कहाँ से आते हैं, तो उत्तर यह है कि ये ब्रह्मांड में निहित नियम है। यह एक पाद टिप्पणी यानी फुट नोट के रूप में एक स्वशासित ब्रह्मांड के बाहर एक बुद्धि के अनावश्यक निर्माण के विरुद्ध आपके द्वारा अनुमोदित तर्क का आशय प्रस्तुत किया जाएगा। गुरुदेव उत्तर देते हैं कि वे कहते हैं, यदि आप मुझे ब्रह्मांड में एक भी ऐसा प्राणी या वस्तु दिखा सके जो किसी अंध नियम यानी ब्लाइंड लॉ के माध्यम से और उसके अनुसार उत्पन्न और विकसित न होते हो, तभी आपका तर्क मान्य होगा। विकास का सिद्धांत एक शाश्वत विरोध है। विकास का अंतर्वलित यानी जटिलता यानी यौगिकता यानी इनवॉल्यूट से क्रमिक इवोल्यूट का प्रगटीकरण होता है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Usman ji. So now we can open up for any questions or queries.
धन्यवाद,
tough
समाप्त हो
one.
गया.
Yes, anybody? Actually, people asking questions will help everybody to understand this better. Okay.
It's not very easy to understand these concepts. I think
Yeah.
it requires more study and
I
more
was just
thinking.
thinking, like, this is only concentrating on just that Parabrahm, qualities of the Parabrahm, or the aspects of that before Manavantra. Most of it is just that. In fact, even the mention of Pohat is not there in this letter, in these passages. There is something similar to Pohat written, but not the word Pohat has not come at all. Whereas in the secret doctrine, Pohat is mentioned all the time in cosmogenesis as such an important aspect of the cosmogenesis part.
Can
So, like
you?
you rightly said that there are a lot of things explained in the secret doctrine later on, which makes these concepts more clearer.
While reading these questions and answers which Mahatma Ji has given, you can immediately make out that these answers are given by Mahatma M. He has not used the word Fohat. You see, he has used more of the Vedantic terms, the Panchamahabhut, the Ajashakti. What is Ajashakti? It is Fohat on the plane of manifestation. Right?
That's the only point I remember that way.
Yes.
Correct.
So, see, all the philosophies are using different terms, but the idea behind is same.
It's nice deduction you have made that it could be Master M who has written this. Because Master M is very cut and dry. He will, and actually, compared to these kinds of answers, when you think when they're discussing Fern or they're discussing Alcott or HPB or some other thing that is so easy to understand, this is so pure philosophy. It becomes complex to, you need to learn, I mean, really focus hard.
Right. A lot of concepts of cosmogenesis have been discussed here. And that is what we need to understand, the 7 cosmic planes and the 7 cosmic principles. And
Okay, so shall we
I
end?
feel it becomes easier to understand by analogy. So you take the 7 human principles and how it is divided into the upper 3 eternal principles, which is the real man, and the lower 4 quaternary, which is the transient or the personality of man. So same way for the cosmic also, upper 3 planes are the worlds of reality, lower 4 are the personality, which is transient. And those planes, they cyclically go into pralay and are remanifested. So if you keep this analogy in mind, it becomes relatively simpler to understand. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining, and meet you next Friday for the concluding part of this appendix 2. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
but yeah. Asatoma Satkamay, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gai. Om Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.